Hi, and welcome back to the Queens of Tart.
Hello,
Hey, Jess.
how's it going? Where are
Well,
you?
there I am.
There you are.
Oh,
Ta-da.
ta-da. And this is me, Tracy.
And this is me, Jessica, Alana. And yeah, we are the Queens of Tart.
Well, we certainly try.
Yeah, we
There we
certainly try.
go.
Yeah, oh, that's a nice background. That looks
It
really
is.
lovely.
Oh,
I
you
want to
know.
kind of jump in the screen. I was like, oh, I wish I had like a nice balcony like
Oh,
that instead of like in a
I wish
basement.
I had a balcony. Although saying
I
that, I
know.
really don't like heights, so maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not. It's a
It's
little
just a
bit
pretty
daunting
picture,
when
and
you're
I've
up
got
in the
trees out my
sky.
ears.
Yeah,
Well, there's this, but that's dull.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit of greenery. A little bit of
Yeah,
greenery is
yeah.
always good.
Like you've got a little bit of pinkery.
Exactly. A little bit of pinkery, a little
Hmm.
bit of greenery.
Yeah.
Speaking of green, today we were talking about fashion, weren't we?
Yes, we were. I even found a little picture for that. Oh, look. Oh,
So
oh.
speak of green, so I can't remember the exact name of what this green color was called, but it's interesting because when it came about, it was one of the most iconic fashion colors that was used back in what are we talking Victorian era,
Yeah,
Elizabethan?
Victorian, maybe pre-Victorian, sort of like between
Yeah.
the 19th century or the 1800s, whichever way you want.
Okay. Yeah. And the funny thing about this green, well, it's not too funny actually. I shouldn't really say that, but it's beautiful, but it was one of the most deadly colors that was going about at that time because it was
Apparently
toxic.
so.
Yeah.
Apparently, because when I was looking for my picture to match, it's arsenic,
Arsenic. There you go.
the
Wow.
arsenic dress. And then there was another one for uranium, and I was kind of reminded of that whole Homer Simpson throwing his uranium stick behind him as he's going out the factory, out of the power station. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, well, basically, what this episode is about is torturous fashion, or should we call it fashion to die for?
Fashion to die for, killing in the name of fashion, whatever way you want to look at it. It's just so incredible that these beautiful colors that you see and the garments that you saw them wore, they look so glamorous and so beautiful. But these poor women were dying or getting really sick. And even in the factories, I heard stories that apparently they would even like be all silly with the paint and it glowed in the dark sometimes, some of the
Then that
paint.
might then yeah, well that I don't know whether that would be arsenic then. That's
Yeah.
where the other option that they had down was uranium, because that
Isn't
gives
that
off that
crazy?
radiation green, which is the whole power station thing with Homer Simpson. Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Like, and they were so innocent because obviously they weren't doing a lot of research back then into these materials and these chemicals. They just knew that they look really beautiful. And they're like, okay, well, this is admirable on women, so we should just keep making the stuff. And then who knows, they're probably dying of cancer, all kinds of
Well,
illness,
yeah, I mean, with regards
all
to the
kinds of sick.
color, it wasn't
Yeah.
just women, it was used in everybody's clothing. So, and curtains, didn't you mention as well? Household soft
Oh gosh, yeah.
furnishings and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, they were literally just killing themselves because they liked a pretty color, like the makeup and all that white stuff all over their faces.
Oh gosh, yeah. Even oh yeah, like it was seen as, almost put like this sort of chalk kind of
Yeah, it was supposed
foundation,
to
like
be
the whiter, the more fair, the
attractive.
better, because
Yeah.
it showed like a higher class. And it was really quite disgusting in that period because, they had all kinds of lice. So sorry if that's a trigger. It might make people itchy on here. But they wouldn't even wash their hair. And, they had to use all of these strange things that they put in their hair, all piled up on top of their head to keep the lice from falling out into their dinner plate. You know,
I,
yeah. So it's pretty nasty. Back then, while it looked glamorous, and we tend to glamorize them in the movies and in the like all of these old timepieces and drama series. It looks beautiful and it's glamorous, but the reality not so clean, not so hygienic.
yeah, yeah. I mean, but then we complain about the bra.
Yeah, exactly. I
Modern
mean, we
world,
complain
how
about the
it
bra,
looks.
yeah,
I don't know whether it actually looks that way. 9 times out of 10, I feel like I'm strapped in a straitjacket. You know,
yeah,
men want to know why women are PO'd all the time. Underwire bra, bad fitting
exactly.
bras. That'll do it.
Exactly. And it's interesting to me because we complain about bras and the wires in our bras and how sometimes it could be really itchy, it could be irritating, but We don't, at least we don't have to wear corsets anymore.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was looking into that as well. Now, I found some interesting pictures. Oh.
Oh gosh,
Now,
just
that's the
look at
shape of your
that.
skeleton and what it does to your waistline. But here's another one, what it does to your insides.
Oh gosh, yeah, look at that.
I mean,
Wow.
and whose idea was it anyway to make them a well-bone corsets? I mean,
I, yeah, I have no
was this
idea.
men because they wanted tiny? I mean, I say men with woman wanting women with a certain sort of like a perfect hourglass figure and stuff like that. But today it's a fetish. It's
Yeah,
classified as a some kind of dress sense fetish or sexual fetish or something like that.
yeah,
Yeah, and I'm thinking,
yeah.
no, it's wow. No wonder people were dead by the time they were 35.
Oh, absolutely. It's you don't, yeah, because it looked beautiful having, those slender waists and that was what they really wanted at the time. It like that, like really hourglass physique. And now it's become very fetishized in today's society. I can't remember who it was, and I won't mention the name just because mainly because I can't remember who she was, but she actually does wear these corsets and wants like the smallest waist in the world. And I
I
think
remember
doctors were
seeing some stuff about her. Yeah.
yeah, and it's not just her. I think there's actually probably a couple people who are doing that, and they've been warned by doctors. Like you're literally crushing your organs. Your organs are becoming compressed, and this is really damaging. But again, it's still something that they seem to love today. And women when they were wearing corsets back in the day, they were fainting. They couldn't even breathe. They were fainting all
Well,
over the
yeah, and
place.
they're turning around and say, "Oh, the woman's having the vapors." Oh, these, very weak women. It's not the freaking weak women. It's those bloody corsets. They're killing
Exactly.
you. Or
And
they were.
they always like painted women like back in the day being hysterical, like, oh, she's just having a frenzy, it's hysteria. And it's like, no, it's because it's very hard to be a woman, and especially when it comes to fashion and
Mm,
the way that you look, it's still hard in today's society, but the things that they put them through is just absolutely insane. And it was interesting because I worked at that London attraction and I actually had to play a Victorian lady.
hmm
And even that corset for me, although it wasn't as tight, because we're actors, we actually need to breathe. So it's nowhere near the depiction of reality. But to
hmm
wear a corset and even sweat at work for however many hours a day in this attraction in the dark, and you're go running back and forth performing to about 50 something people, I would even get a tight chest. And I'm like, oh my God, like if I was a real
hmm
woman,
If
like no
you were
wonder
living
we didn't
back there in the
survive.
day, you'd be dying every day by being squished.
Oh my gosh. And not to mention like tuberculosis, if you got tuberculosis, and then guess what? You still have to wear your corset. So not only
Yeah,
are
try
you
coughing through that lot.
struggling to breathe, now you have a corset to cage you in and even more. It's just,
Mm,
yeah. So
I
thank God we
know.
don't have to wear those. The bras are still annoying, but it's definitely a leap forward for sure.
Well, I don't know. I'm very much about this whole sweat thing. Where once
Yeah.
you get home, strip it off and just veg with my sweatpants on.
That's the best. I don't think like men will never understand that that is one of the best feelings in the world is when you've come home, especially when you've been working all day or just out all day, even just seeing friends, and you're wearing this annoying bra, the metal or whatever bone you have in your bra is just sticking into you. It's
Mm,
tight around your back sometimes, especially when you're sweaty. And that is the best feeling ever when you just like just take it off
yeah, I
and let
know.
the girls hang loose and it's just like, ah, like I can breathe again.
Well,
And
that's
then
why we're
yeah.
happier. That's why we're happier in our sweatpants, boys.
Yeah,
You happy
exactly.
girl? Don't tie us up in this crap.
I'm all for freeing the nipple. I'm like, if there's an outfit that I can get away with where I don't have to wear a bra, especially in Canadian summer, I'm like,
Mm,
I'm not wearing a bra. I'm like, so long as my nipples aren't too poking out
yeah.
and it's
As long as
not
it
too
doesn't,
revealing.
as long as some guy's not going to say, oh, it's also entice
Yeah,
them on.
exactly. Then I will definitely try and get away without wearing a bra because I'm like, yeah, whatever. We don't have
Mm.
to wear one, especially in this heat.
I can
Well, not
honestly say
today.
I'm really glad that we didn't. I couldn't have lived in the Victorian times where I would have
Oh
just,
my God.
I would have shot somebody. Then I would have become violent by nature. I'm sure. I'm
You'd
surprised
be a
I didn't go
rebel.
around killing the people making these frickin' fashions.
You'd be like a rebel or like an ally to, I don't know, women's fashion. There would be a
Oh,
rebel
I
rebellion
I
going on,
must
like,
admit, I
stop the
mean,
course.
I've never thought I had much of a fashion sense, but I'm a jeans girl, I'm a denim girl, or just trousers, or anything that. and comfortable,
Yes,
practical.
yes. I dress
All
more
over
for
this
comfort these
nonsense.
days. There's the occasional time where, okay, I'll get dressed up, say I'm going on a date. Maybe I'm going to like some event, but most of the time I like to look good in my own way. And if that's comfortable, wearing baggier tops, I'm all about the free flowing dresses now. Like,
Mm,
I don't want to feel tight, especially when it's hot out. I don't
no,
want to, and I
no.
always don't want to show my figure either, especially dating in today's day and age. It's something, it's nice to leave a little bit of mystery to the eye.
I mean, I remember in my
No mystery.
20s going to work I worked in Durban in South Africa. I worked for an advertising agency and walking around in these fancy suits because I got a clothing allowance, which was really nice. Um, but high heel shoes and stuff like that. Midsummer, 30 degrees, and as humid as it is in Toronto. Just the same kind of humidity. I don't know. I don't even know why I did it, but because I had to present the certain face. I would have been far more comfortable in my trainers, pair
Yes.
of
Yeah.
jeans. I'm not a shorts person either, mostly because I do a lot of standing up, walking, stretching, and yada yada. And if you're in a dress, you can't do that stuff.
No, you know what I do now is you can get these bicycle shorts, and if I do feel like wearing a dress or a skirt, I'll actually pop those on underneath just to make
Yeah,
sure that I'm not going to expose myself or flash
yeah,
anyone.
yeah. I used to do that
Especially
a lot too.
if I'm doing hair and it's a hot day and I'm like, you know what, I can't be running around the salon today in jeans or pants. Like I have to wear a skirt. I'll pop those on underneath
Yeah,
because I don't
makes
want to be
sense.
flashing my clients.
Yeah, yeah. You don't
You
want
know,
to be flashing your clients when you've got to bend down to the bottom drawer to pick out the colors.
yeah, and particularly if I'm dropping combs and stuff, it's not a very flattering thing to be exposed like that. But anyway,
No.
each to their own. I'm just glad that we don't have to wear corsets. It's not a mandatory thing. I also just love that it's a lot more freeing today as a woman to dress what you want. Like,
Well,
you know, there
you
was,
say
yeah,
that, but I'm sorry, I'm just going to point to the next
yeah.
torturous device we have in our fashion wardrobes. Those
Oh,
shoes. Granted,
oh,
I
yeah.
don't have a pair that high, but for goodness sake.
I would break my ankle wearing those. When I wear heels now, I won't go above like maybe 3 inches. And even then, I'm gonna make sure that I'm not getting too drunk if I'm
I
going out because I'm like I'm not risking falling and breaking my ankle.
stone cold sober during the
Yeah.
day, coming down some stairs in Randburg in South Africa, some building stairs, twisted my ankle. Thank God my boss was wonderful because he sent a driver for me every day. I
Oh
couldn't
my
drive for
God.
2 weeks. And the heels were tiny. They weren't even this big. They were just sort of like 1.5, maybe 2 inches high. And a friend of mine who broke her ankle, you know those old-fashioned wedgies?
Mm.
The denim wedgies that came out in like the 70s. Okay, fine, you weren't born yet, but you know what I mean. But they had these wedgies, and I bought a nice, comfortable size, and I was walking,
Yeah.
and I chose not to walk back in them because A, I didn't
Yeah.
want to ruin them, and B, I didn't want to do that. But my friend decided she was going to wear hers home, and she got a really high pair, which were, granted, they were wedges, but they were at least 3 inches. I mean, I think that's about 5 inches, for goodness sake. Although saying that,
Oh.
my stepdaughter at a funeral we went to, my stepdaughter's walking around almost in heels like that. Daughter, I
I
was
just
at a
don't want to ever
at a
risk it.
funeral.
I broke my foot once and that was me without wearing heels. So
Yeah.
I'm just like if I'm capable of doing that without wearing like shoes that high, I'm certainly not going to pop those on.
I mean,
No way.
and if you take a look at it, you've got the history of shoes. I've got a little picture here. And I do know
Oh.
this one on the bottom, the sort of like third one from pictured on the left. That one was actually invented by military people back in the very, very olden days, somewhere in Asia, so that they could hold on to the stirrups of their horse. It would keep them in the saddle, basically. So that third one along on the bottom. But going further, if you look at the red one or the black one, or even especially the ones that have got like ropes along the side, they reckon they're looking at it and saying, are we still doing foot binding? Because these things actually distort the foot so badly,
Oh gosh.
and I know, I mean, I know my mom used to wear those really like thin, winkle-toed, pointy high heel shoes, sort of like
Yeah.
tiny, 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 tiny point. And it does, it distorts the feet, it pushes them in like that. And then you take a look at what they did to the foot binding when they did the foot binding.
Oh my
That's what happened to
God.
feet with foot binding. I mean, that's a horrible picture. But this was supposed to be to make them walk daintily. It was supposed to be sexy. But who was it sexy for? Because it
I
wasn't sexy for the girls.
It's no, it's again, I feel like and this might sound a bit sexist, but I think it's just so sad to me because the way that women's opinions and their feelings and the way they look towards themselves over the years, it's to attract men or to attract a partner. So look at these feet, like how tiny and deformed those are, and for what cost?
And
You're going
they
to
can
be,
barely walk. They're all sort of like
yeah,
tottering around and stuff like that. And the
it
pain. You're
it's even,
literally crushing your bones in your toes when you walk. I mean, it's bad enough with ballerinas when they go on the points, right?
yeah.
That's for the dancing and stuff. But, and their toes totally destroyed.
It's even it's absolutely, and even I don't know, and I don't want to be offensive to any cultures, but even in like Disney, like even the women in Disney, there's that scene in Mulan where they're singing that song and it's like you'll bring honor to us all, and they're teaching her how to be a woman. Do you know if you remember
Yeah.
that song? They're literally caking her in makeup. She's wearing the geisha thing. And I
Yeah.
love that movie because it's so feminist. And then Mulan goes and pretends to be a male soldier, which is a very feminist, powerful thing to do. But in that song, it's about attracting a mate. You'll bring honor to us
Exactly.
all. And she's
We're
dressed
thinking,
up
what
and
for? I mean, here's this poor girl walking down the runway, and it happens
yeah.
to loads of models with these new high heels. I've walked out of my shoes on a runway, doot, doot,
Oh
doot,
yeah.
and which is fine because I ain't falling A over T, but they're falling down. You're not
Yeah.
breaking your ankle, and you're just cracking your knee. It does nothing. It does no good for the wearer. I mean,
Yeah.
granted, it might make a woman's calf muscles look really nice and slender. It may slim down your ankles. But
Yeah.
how good is that slim down ankle when it's broken?
Exactly. And that's the thing because at the end of the day, while it's showing off a garment or showing off the height of a model, whatever you want the model to be wearing or how you want her to present herself, at the end of the day, if she's tripping over like that, she's out of commission.
Yeah, and maybe you shouldn't be making dresses that long just to prove you can. Because
Exactly.
it's a trip hazard. Not everything has to be a wedding train. In fact, even wedding dresses shouldn't have trains that long.
Exactly. Well, that's it. Can you imagine? And it's probably happened to some brides where they've probably fallen over because their dress is too long.
Do you know how many brides wear trainers now? They just pimp
Really?
up their trainers with lace and pearls and stuff like that. So many more women are walking down the aisle in trainers for this exact reason.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
And I don't
I
blame
didn't even
them.
have high heel shoes. But at the end of the day, that little bit of height, it makes the ball of your feet hurt. That's just like a little torture device.
And
And it's
then
not
you're
like
not
the guy's
enjoying the
going to rub your
wedding.
feet at the end of the day just because you got sexy ankles.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, at that point, it's like, oh, do I even want to be, do I want to ruin my wedding day for the sake of my feet looking cute? It's just like, yeah. So you got to ask
Yeah.
yourself, like, what in the name of fashion am I doing? Like, am I going to be comfortable? Who am I trying to appease? And at the end of the day, I think so long as you're happy and you're comfortable in your own body and your own skin, it doesn't really matter what you wear, so long as you're
Yeah,
happy.
absolutely. And I'm sitting here, looking all posh up top here,
Yes.
relatively speaking.
And you know
And
what?
at the bottom,
Me too.
sweats and trainers.
And then, yep, and I'm wearing my grey top today to match the weather. It's very grey today. But yeah, again, and
Yeah,
it's at least these colors aren't giving us toxic chemicals in our body.
that's true. That's
And
very
we'll be
true.
all right. We'll
And
be
we'll
all
be all
right.
right. Although saying that I have a bra on, that's gonna. Well, actually, it's a sports bra. I find them a little bit more comfortable.
I love a good sports bra. And they
And,
do give you some support without
they do
irritating you too.
without, and they've got none of that wire. No
Yeah.
freaking wire that's gonna
I
poke you in the
freaking
ass.
hate that wire so much. I like a good bralette as well. Okay, they might not have the same type of support,
But they
but
hide the nipple.
they hide the nipple. so not too nipply.
Yeah,
And
and
then
then
what
they're
they do
nice
offer
and light and
comfortable,
airy.
and they're nice and light and airy. And there
Yeah,
are even some,
don't do much for the cleavage, but then neither
no,
does this top, so there you go.
there's even some tops actually have like a built-in, sort of padding. So that's great because then you don't have to wear your bra. I've got a
Mm,
couple like that. They're like not quite corset tops, but they've got like a firmness where the breasts are meant to go and it actually
yeah.
like supports them. So I'm
And
like,
it's okay if it actually fits you and the breasts fit nicely in that cup. Of course, if it's the wrong size, then you're doomed.
yeah,
Doomed,
exactly.
doomed.
Yeah,
And God forbid you should put on weight.
yeah,
Then all the
so
clothes. Because there's another thing I was thinking about. You know the sizes of shoes?
yeah,
I was out at the shops the other day and was saying, in the UK for a long, if I was like wandering around the UK, I'd be like a size 10 to 12. But because Canadian and American sizes are different, I'm an 8 to 10. And my shoes, which is nice because then my ass seems smaller, but my shoes in the UK, I've got nice small feet.
yeah.
And here they're 2.5 sizes bigger, which
Oh
means
yes,
I've got a
yeah.
smaller bum and big feet.
Yeah, I fluctuate from I'm all kinds of different size over here. I just always go for medium, but then again, I've got
So
very broad
sometimes you
shoulders,
have to go for a
so I
large
have
just
to
to
go
keep
up
it
to a
over the
large.
shoulders. Yeah.
So it's like I don't even say like I like unless I'm going to a specific if I'm wanting to be a model for something where they're going to dress me or if they've got a wardrobe, that's really the only time that I take my size because they've got a
Mm,
specific costume for me. Otherwise, I'm just like, it fits, it's
it
comfy.
fits. Wear it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, from bras and shoes to sizes and complaints, I'm kind of really glad I don't live in Victorian times and
Yes. Thank God we don't live
1960s.
then.
I wouldn't burn my bra though. They
But
have
yeah, no.
no,
Especially if
I'm
it's
not
a
very good.
fancy one from the
There
Zenza.
are some times like, oh, has to wear a bra.
Yeah. No,
But I'm
there
doing
are some.
sports bras now because they're more comfy.
Yeah, and you know what? It's like they still offer support without sort of drumming a metal wire into your side.
Yes,
So
because God
bring
forbid when
bring
that
out the
snaps.
sports bras. We're
Yeah.
too hot to wear these fancy ones. And hot and heat. I
And
mean,
I
plus we're
think that the
hot, but
modern
anyway.
woman is far too busy. We can't be going around having freaking vapors every now and again. Although saying
Exactly.
that, I'm sure the orange man down south would like everybody to have vapors. Just so they can, well, they probably do when they pass him, but I should probably shut up now.
So there you go. That's us
Well,
for
yeah, that's it from us. If you want to like us and subscribe to us,
like and subscribe.
the Queens of Tarts, we are not here every week. We are in, as we're not busy today, and we wanted to put something up, and we don't do much research. We do a little bit of research, but we only
Yeah,
we do that extra bit of research on stuff we already know. Boom, boom, boom,
there you go.
and then we
So,
try and
well,
find the funny.
if you want to join us for our next video, as Trace said, like and subscribe to our channel. We will be back next time.
Yeah. We'll see you. If we don't see you through the week, we'll see you through the window. I'm sure that comes from an old sitcom somewhere.
There's definitely some saying that says that. No,
Yeah,
no.
yeah, yeah. If we don't see you through the week, no, we don't really want to see you through the window. They'll think we're having a B&E. No breaking in entries. No, 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 no. It's time to go. We're talking bullshit now.
Have a great day, everyone.
Have a
Or great
great day,
night.
great week, and see you soon. Bye.
See you soon.